Hi and welcome to Active Bryant Systems. I'm Scott Bryant. Please subscribe there. Please watch the video till the end. And what I'm going to talk to you today is about drugs, my drug history, and why I don't agree with people promoting drugs in videos and on YouTube. Okay, so here we go. So I had a very traumatic upbringing when I was a young man. My dad left when I was 7. My mum was a single mum on a council estate. I had to have second-hand clothes to wear. There was lots of violence in the home, and that obviously affected me in some way. I had a learning difficulty of dyslexia, which nobody understood, and everybody just thought I was stupid, which will make them laugh now if they knew what I do for a living now. So with the drug thing in the 80s and the 90s, when I left school when I was 16, I got introduced to drugs by smoking cannabis through a friend. And it wasn't done openly in the street. It wasn't done widespread like it is now in the year 2017. I never smelt it on the street anywhere, and I'd never see anyone, totally shit-faced walking down the road. Maybe I was a bit naive then and didn't see it, but in the 80s, it was sort of like really, really underground. And then all of a sudden, there was a big wash of drugs everywhere. And so I started smoking cannabis, and I took a bit of LSD, was one of my favourite drugs, and I took a little bit of speed. I never done cocaine. I never done ecstasy, thank God, because I think that would have killed me. And drugs opened my mind to Pink Floyd and artwork and stuff like that. So after going through drugs, and I was at my mum's, and I had a huge panic attack in the living room, and my sister and all my family stood around me, what was left of the family, said, "It's your own fault. If you don't give it up, it's your own fault. Whatever happens to you, we don't want nothing to do with you." So I went, "Fuck you," and I quit. So I stopped when I was 19, got into weightlifting, got into looking after myself, got into Aikido and a bit of kickboxing and a bit of street martial arts and stuff like that. And that kept my mind occupied and kept me away from drugs. And I stayed away from people that I knew that were really heavily into drugs. So in that time of when I quit, Leah Betts died. The Essex boys got shot. Other people I knew were taking much stronger drugs like heroin. So they went from cannabis to speed to ecstasy to heroin. And I don't know whether they're still alive or dead. So if you are watching this video, let me know whether you're still alive. Then when I got into the bodybuilding world, I realised that, bodybuilding was really about steroids in which to get your body really, really, really big. And I tried steroids once, but not did a full cycle or anything like that in really to give me massive growth. But I've been working out for 26 years. And I went from 11.5 stone from 16 to about 21. Then from 21, I went from 11.5 up to 13. Then I went from 13 to 15 when I was doing the door work, because I realised I needed mass, I needed size, I needed strength in which to, deal with the problems that can happen in a nightclub or restaurant or bar, or a venue where there's alcohol on sound. So when I quit drugs, even smoking, I realised that doing them types of things can be really damaging and trapping for the body in the way of you end up in this repetitive cycle of wanting and needing that drug all the time. So when I decided to quit smoking, I tried going from 20 a day to 10 a day, and then from 10 a day to 5 a day, then from 5 a day to roll-ups. And that wasn't working. And I was like really getting angry with myself that this substance was controlling me. When I stopped cannabis, And the other drugs, I went through extreme withdrawal on my own. And I knew that this is something I had to do because I could see everything falling around me and that people were getting hurt and damaged from drugs. Okay, and it wasn't publicised then like it is now. So then after doing, the cannabis and going through withdrawal, coming off of it, then quitting smoking, the only way I could quit smoking was by cutting them up, throwing them in the bin, and taking each day as it comes. And that's what I did. And before you knew it, it was a week, then it was 6 months, then it was a year, then it was 2 years, and family members were still smoking, and I quit completely. And I'd always return to thinking of my dad, because my dad was never a smoker apart from when he was a young kid, when he was about 8 or 9, picking up dog ends in the street and making up cigarettes out of it, because my dad's a Londoner. So, and he's 76 now, and still going strong, even though he's got some illnesses now. God bless him. Hope he'll be all right. So as I was saying about the drugs, and what I've seen is that, it's all in the movies now, it's in the media, it's everywhere. And when I was growing up, it wasn't so prevalent in the media and out there until Leah Betts died, and then it went fucking ginormous in the media about ecstasy. And what they're saying is a lot of the alcoholic companies were worried about young people just doing drugs all the time and not drinking alcohol anymore, so they was going to lose a revenue. So I lost 5 friends. So one guy was a bodybuilder and he died on a plane going to a bodybuilding show in America. Then I had another friend die. Her partner got her an ecstasy tablet and she died in a local club. Then Leah Betts died. Then my friend that I associated with used to like cocaine and he snorted it in the toilet and he had a heart attack. Then I had another friend die that was a heroin addict and injected their heroin addict and OD'd. So after seeing all that and knowing these people had good energy, had good souls, and we were all just young and naive and, not understanding. And lucky enough, I had my weight training and Schwarzenegger, who I looked up to till I found out about his drug abuse, that I decided to stay away from drugs and was always upset when I hear that people were on drugs. I lost somebody close to me for a long while because of drugs, and then they had an awakening and come away from drugs, which I was really, really pleased about. So drugs are highly, highly dangerous. They're highly, highly addictive. That's why they're called a drug. And the people that say that they can handle doing their drug and it's not a problem and it's not an issue are lying. Because if it's not an issue and it's not a problem, why can't you stop completely? Because it's a drug, it's got control of you. So I feel that some people out there are promoting drugs on the internet, ayahuasca and stuff like that. Yeah, ayahuasca is used for you to get in touch with your ego and your spirit self, and for the ayahuasca plant to talk to you, and for it to open you up to your faults and your faults as in thinking, and your faults within yourself. And ayahuasca should be taken 5 times, in which to get the cleansing and to rebalance you and change you into a different person, or to be a better person. But unfortunately, many people are taking ayahuasca and stuff like that like it's a recreational drug like ecstasy, which I think is totally wrong, because you're missing the point of doing the ayahuasca. Now, Alberto Villoldo, I've read 5 of his books and done some of his studying, or some of his courses. I've studied with one of his shaman practitioners for a year, and she says that ayahuasca you can buy in Brixton, but you'd never do it in London because you need the element the forest, the rainforest, and the plant, and you preparing it yourself and making it the ayahuasca yourself and getting it together and doing different treatments to get your body and your mind ready for the mind-altering experience that you're going to have. Now, if you're doing ayahuasca with seeing your local drug dealer, they're not going to do that. They don't care about that. All they care about is the money, the dark side of it. The same with smoking ecstasy, smoking cannabis and stuff like that. The average dealer doesn't give a shit about you. All they want is your £15 for your eighth. They're not going to be there for you when you're sick, dead, dying in the hospital, or if you have a psychosis experience. They're going to leave you out there. They're not going to want anything to do with you. So, from me giving up drugs, I've never been back. I've tried cannabis so I give up when I was 19, so I tried again when I was 20, maybe 21, but it wasn't the same. It was not the same. I didn't get the giggles. I was worried. I was even more worried about the worries that I had at that time. It wasn't the buzz it used to be. So I gave it up completely, and I'm pleased that I did after the people that have died around me, that I know that if they were still alive today, they could have done so much more with their lives. So I believe that, ayahuasca, if you're going to take that, you need to see a really good shaman that you know well, not a shaman you see 3 times because your mate's introducing you to them. You should have an in-depth relationship with the shaman, with the healer, so you know that if you go through a really traumatic experience, that they can bring you back. Because remember, people taking ayahuasca die, or people taking ayahuasca can murder somebody else. This has all been documented in the media. Or you could be taking ayahuasca, have a bad trip, die, and be buried in Peru. So you've got to be, really, really careful when taking drugs. Now, I just watched the Dorian Yates video with London Real, and London Real talks about how he took ayahuasca, advocates cannabis, advocates ayahuasca, and now Dorian Yates said at the end of the video he's now no longer doing ayahuasca or cannabis because he realises that yoga and exercise can give that to you. So what that tells me straight away is that it's taken him to be Mr. Olympia, taking every drug under the sun in which to get his body massively huge, and then to go through massive traumatic experiences, which he talks about, and then to realise by taking ayahuasca that his body was in a mess, for him to take up yoga, for him to become more open, and for him to realise the drug, or for ayahuasca to say to him that the drugs were damaging and killing him. There's another guy that's talking to Joe on the Joe Rogan show, and he talks about, I can't think of his name, he was talking about how he was addicted to cannabis and he wrote lots of books and stuff like that, and then took ayahuasca, and then ayahuasca spoke to him, and he's not taken cannabis at all since. It's just a shame that they get an awakening so late in their lives, when whatever you take into your body is going to damage your body. So us going out, breathing the air, is damaging us and killing us slowly. The same as the toxins we put onto our bodies, if they are a toxin, like you're using shaving foam or you're using hair stuff that I don't use anymore, in which to keep yourself looking good, is all toxins. And something come to me the other day was, if you're a baby, are you born with a joint hanging out of your mouth? No. If you're a baby, are you given ayahuasca when you're given to your mother? No. When you're a baby, do you have an attachment to your hand to hold a cigarette? No. So why would you need it as a human being? That's my question to you out there that may be watching this video now. So I'm not against people getting high, people doing what they want to do, but all I'm against is that if you're taking drugs, the drugs are giving you something artificial. For them to give you something artificial, they will take something away. If you eat healthy food, you feel healthy, you feel good, you feel lean, the body looks great. If you eat shit, you look shit. So if you're putting concoctions into your mind that damages your brain, that's naturally super powerful. You know, they found we've got DMT in the brain, so then they used, because DMT is already in the brain, that's an excuse to take it anyway. You're not born with a tobacco tree in your chest, are you? So I believe myself that these things that we must not do. Our bodies are sacred. Our bodies are holy. Our body purifies, it cleans itself. Look, I cut my head the other day. Can you see that? So I cut my head the other day and it's healed itself. My body has healed itself. So why have the need to take hallucinogenics and stuff like that? I get many people talk to me about ayahuasca because they hear that I've been doing shamanistic work. In some books it talks about shamans taking lots of drugs and hallucinogenics to get that outward experience. So my other thing that I've been thinking about is that if you go out to the Amazon rainforest, or if you go out to the local forest in the UK, you can hear the birds, the animals, the trees. So that should be the thing that you should be enjoying. Why should you feel the need to get out of your trolley in which to enjoy something more that could be causing long-term reputable damage to the brain? I know that when I was smoking cannabis, my memory was terrible. I used to get paranoia. What are you fucking looking at? What are you fucking looking at? That type of stuff. Are you following? Are you following me? What did you fucking say? All that type of stuff when I was going through that. Or I'd put something down and forget where I put it. Or I'd be thinking of something and forget. Now that happens naturally when you get older. So why would you want to enhance that when you're in your 20s or your 30s? So my analogy on drugs is that if you want to try them. Everyone's got free will. But remember, whatever you take will take something away. So if you take ephedrine to train to get more of a buzz, that will stress your adrenal glands out. And if you keep doing it, your adrenal glands will cease to work, which means that the major hormones in your body won't work anymore. If you keep snorting cocaine all the time, your philtrum there will disappear. And if you haven't got the money to have an operation done to correct it, you will look weird without this middle bit of your nose like Daniela Westbrook, who comes from Essex, like I do. So I believe that the more that you live naturally and do what your natural potential is, the better you are within yourself. Yes, we're all going to get old. We're all going to, we may die of a disease, we may die in our sleep, we may die of a crash, we may die of a missile, but it's no excuse to get shit-faced. There's no excuse to go down to the dealer and get a drug and start taking a drug where you don't know where the fuck it's come from. I remember when I worked at a massive nightclub in the West End, and I used to be there from 8 in the evening till 6 till 3 o'clock in the afternoon, where people shit-faced on drugs. Out of their trolleys. Lawyers, solicitors, doctors, celebrities, famous people I can mention who I took drugs off of when I was a doorman. And I used to say to him, this was one of my speeches, was, now if I got that drug of yours and threw it on the floor and kicked it around the nightclub, would you still want to take it? Of course I fucking wouldn't. That's stupid, Scott. Well, if it is fucking stupid, why are you doing that when you go to see your dealer? Especially if it's crystal cocaine, the rock of the cocaine, that's come from South America. You don't know what process it's been through. You don't know how they've dabbled with it. and then you put it inside your system, and then it may kill you, it may not kill you. So I don't believe that drugs should be advocated in movies. They shouldn't be advocated on YouTube channels, and elite professionals shouldn't be advocating them because they cause damage. Look at all the athletes now. You've got all these athletes coming out that, I was taking this drug to because I had this disease, this was killing me, but they was using it to enhance their performance and cheat. So I believe what they should do is that they should have a drug Olympics and a normal Olympics for every single sport. So if a footballer damages his ankle or his Achilles tendons in football, they inject him with a drug so he can still play. But that's not pulled out. He's not banned because of that. And I believe that that's wrong, because that's enhancing his performance. The same if they have different banned substances like maybe Lucozade or some cough mixtures they're not allowed to take and stuff like that, because they all enhance performance. Well, if all them drugs enhance performance, then they should stop them weightlifting, because weightlifting will enhance your performance, if that makes sense, over a course of time, if you've got the right program. So that's my blurb on drugs and a little bit of history about me and losing the 5 people that I thought a lot of, and that's been the deterrent for me. I hope it can be the deterrent for you. I hope you're not suffering with alcohol addiction or a drug addiction that's plaguing the rest of your life and stopping you from being you and excelling to the level that you want to go at. I don't believe that, plants are out there and animals are out there and they're great for us to look at and for us to enjoy. And I think they're there for that reason. But I think some substances, if you've got an addictive personality like myself, you must stay away from. Some people can do a drug once every couple of months and they're fine, because they don't have addictive personality, or they don't have a personality, or they don't have issues deep down inside them which will control them to keep taking this thing all the time. They say that many bankers, lawyers, MPs, they're all taking it now. Because why? They're all chronically stressed. They're all not connecting to spirit. They're all not connecting to higher self. And that's why they think that they need to take that drug or that product. So I'm still a fan of bodybuilding, and I look at bodybuilders now, and now you can't say whether they're natural or whether they're on drugs. But if you look at Eugene Sandow, 1902 or whatever, one of the strongest men that was ever lived, had a brilliant physique, super strong, no drugs. Anabolic steroids were introduced in the 1930s, in the Second World War, when Germany was running the Olympics, and when they were testing everything and doing tests on Jews and everything else. So they've been around for a long time. It's just unfortunate now that people are smoking drugs in the street, people are doing drugs in nightclubs, people are doing drugs at work, people are driving, doing drugs. It's really sad that people have lost connection to, like, I'm just watching the sun go down and I'm thinking how marvellous and beautiful and miraculous that is. So I hope you enjoyed my video on drugs. If you like to talk about your drug problem, or you'd like to know how to get off them and the way that I did it through using my mind, then please subscribe. Please comment at the bottom. Please subscribe there. And I look forward to chatting to you again very soon. I'm Scott Bryant of Active Bryant Systems. Thank you very much. Peace out. Bye.